Okay, this is my alien experience to Ohio via lucid dream virtual reality experience. So anyway, the aliens, Greyz and reptilians, they've pretty much been doing this all my life, taking me to other realities in the altered states. And they've taken me to Africa like twice, Florida twice, Cambodia, Russia, England twice, Atlanta, Joplin, Romania, New York City, and many other places. Also, the aliens have they just got into my dream state a couple mornings ago, and they put this same woman in this. Now, this actually was a dream state. And, yeah, it was really weird. It's like they made this woman nice, and she's not really nice in real life, but the aliens don't really have a lot of choices to choose from because, you know, I'm kind of a loner, so they have to use the same people over and over again sometimes. Because they gave me a remote view with that woman back, and it was gory. They gave me a remote view. I mean, not too bad, but they gave me a remote view with that woman back in 2006. That was in 2006, and of course, I knew it was like an out-of-body. I knew it was an out-of-body experience, but like I say, I knew it was a little different than out-of-body experience. It was a remote view, and I knew it was telling me that, I already knew that she was dark and evil by then. Yeah, like I knew that like around 2003. So yeah, but I didn't know, I mean, I did not do that on my own. The aliens did that for me. You know, but that was a remote view. But yeah, her name is Cindy, and she also ended up in a dream state that the reptilians got to a couple mornings ago. But they made her nice, but, well, actually there was a virtual reality element to it, because like the reptilian, like, they're always bullying me around. Like the reptilian kind of, I can't really tell what it was, but like he pushed me or something, That's not the first time they like pushed me around and shit, and like hit me. But I couldn't really tell what part of my body, but that was virtual reality. Because, well, in real life, I mean, she was kind of a psycho and she's never pushed me or whatever, but I know she's gotten rough with other people. And, like, the reptilians knew that. So, well, anyway. But, yeah, so the aliens don't really have a lot of choices because, you know, I don't really hang out with a lot of people, so they go into my brain and pick whatever they want. But, like I say, if I just see somebody on TV, you know, they'll use that person, too. But, you know, it's not like I hang out with 50 people a day, you know what I'm saying? So they don't really have a lot of people to choose from for my experiences. But the funny thing is, okay, I'm getting kind of off topic, but the funny thing is that Cindy, oh my God, I moved back here in 2010, and I saw her at Barnes & Noble's in 2010. And she had that same ugly purse, and she kept, like, gawking at me, like, really, really, really evil. Like, you can tell, I guess, I don't know, like she's been taken over. But actually, it's just that when you're dumb and stupid and you're in a trance, you don't see how evil people are, and you don't see how possessed they are. So that's what the problem was. I was already starting to, you know, I didn't have my full awakening then, but I was already starting to awaken fully. And so, see, I saw how freaking evil she looked and kept giving me, like, evil looks, me and my sister. But then it was, like, a couple years later, I saw her again at the Dollar General store, and, yeah, I don't know, she's just one weird bitch. That's all I can say. Psycho bitch, too, but, okay, so anyway, okay, so, this is my alien experience to Ohio via virtual reality and lucid dream. And by the way, the aliens need to swap my implants out because they haven't been giving me the best of the best. So they're not doing something. They need to swap my implants out or something because I haven't been getting like this experience. This wasn't on the part of like my Romanian experience and those experiences to England. It felt a little more artificial-like, if you know what I'm saying. And sometimes when I'm in my bed, they haven't done it in a while though, or if they have, you know, they did it when I'm totally asleep. But when I'm in my bed, several times, this was several times in like a couple month period, the beings would, you know, just right when I lay down, they would slightly pull my left earplug out, because I sleep in earplugs. You could feel them gently. You could feel them tampering with you if you become enlightened and attuned to them. You can feel these beings totally tampering with you, all the while remaining invisible. And they don't even care if you are awake. They don't even care. Some of these groups, they don't even care. But a little gray being, well, I believe it was a gray species, would slightly pull the earplug out just a little bit, and then it would, he or she kind of felt androgynous, would put, I don't think I have one in my right ear, but they swapped them out a lot in my left ear. But I don't know if that's what they're using for all these awesome experiences in the altered states of consciousness. So yeah, so you could feel them slightly, well, anyway, I can feel them slightly pull out my earplug, and then they would put the ethereal one right through the earplug, the non-physical one. But lots of times during that time, a couple years ago, like I would wake up and my left earplug would be just like thrown on the dang floor. It's like they would just sometimes take it out and throw it on the floor. They've done that many, many, many times. But it could also be my cat, Hannah. She likes to kind of bite at my earplugs, but normally she's not able to actually pull the whole thing out. She hasn't done it in a while, but yeah. So anyway, I think it was the aliens that actually did come when I was asleep, and they swapped my non-physical ear implant out. But anyway, so, okay, so This is my alien experience to Ohio via lucid dream virtual reality. This morning the aliens took me to Ohio, which was on May 5th. The aliens are being lazy asses lately and not giving me the best of the best. This kind of experience they gave me this morning is a pain in the ass and more fragmented and don't flow as easily in my brain when trying to talk about it after waking up. I could tell they did not create this experience by my astral body and implant, but by implant alone. Yeah, all I know is when they take my astral body out and they actually use that for my out-of-body experiences in these lucid dreams and virtual reality experiences, it's just, 100% real. Totally feels real, no different than 3D, if you know what I mean. And like I say, the lucid dreams feel no different than virtual reality, except the atmosphere feels different. Feels more dreamy. It feels like you're in a utopia type of dimension. It does not feel like 3D, but it is an out-of-body experience. That's why it feels like virtual reality, the lucid dreams. Okay, so they created this kind of experience and dreams by implants alone, I think. That they're being lazy asses. If they use my astral body, I get way more virtual reality, lucid, utopia feeling in the experience. Dreams feel more artificial-like and fragmented, like this scenario did. And also, they won't quite stay with you as long, like when they give you these type of experiences, as opposed to an out-of-body experience, or lucid dream, or remote view. Like several months from now, or you're more apt to forget details. That's why these types, you have to write them down. Okay, this wasn't really even a lucid dream. It was more of a dream with virtual reality elements. It was still very clear and intricate. If you look up the word lucid, it does not mean you can sit there and control things. It means very clear. That's what it means. But somewhere through the grapevine, people keep thinking it means you can control things. Yeah, I can do that too sometimes or whatever, but that's not what it means. It means it's very, very, very clear. But anyway, even my dreams are very clear and intricate, just like this one. This was like, okay, so if you take number 0, dream, and lucid dream, number 5, this was like a number 2. You know what I'm saying? The aliens are being lazy butts, and they haven't been giving me the best of the best. I'm not talking about that experience where she plopped me in the yard in front of the house. That was total virtual reality. And the one in the park with the rainbow colors, that was total virtual reality. I'm talking about just these types that I've been getting lately. They're not on the part of the virtual reality experiences that they normally give me. What I'm saying is they've been giving me more these types lately, like the not so good types of experiences, as opposed to the plopping me down in the virtual reality experiences. But I like those other ones better, like to the Rainbow Park and to the other park where the reptilian made me have sex with that woman. Those types of virtual reality. But like I say, this experience was more of like a dream experience. But it was still very clear and intricate. Okay, so the aliens put me in hotels a lot. And when I'm in the hotels in the experience, or in the experience period, they tell me where I am at. Yeah, they put me in hotel rooms over and over and over and over again. I had a bad group of reptilians that gave me a virtual reality, lucid kind of experience in the altered state in a hotel, and it was some evil reptilians. It was just like sexual stuff and shit. That was like 4 years ago. Okay, so the aliens put me in hotels a lot, and when I'm in the hotels in the experience, or in the experience period, they tell me where I am at. For instance, they just somehow relay the message to me. I'm in Chicago, I'm in New York City, I'm in Ohio, I'm in Romania. They already pre-programmed my brain for that. It's really weird. Now, I haven't posted those awesome fun experiences because it's been too long ago, and I only remember like 70% of them, those ones to Chicago and New York City. Since at the time I didn't know the aliens were giving me all those experiences. The New York City experience one had some slight sexual stuff in it, but it was funny sexual stuff. And that one I think I remember enough of the New York City one. The reptilians and Greyz together are responsible for a lot of these types of experiences in my altered states when they take me to towns, cities, countries. It's mainly the Greyz and reptilians that are doing it. But some reptilians don't really do much sexual stuff. The Greyz normally don't. It's the reptilians, other reptilians that like to do a lot of sexual stuff. But some of the reptilians working with the Greyz or working alone, a lot of them, don't put sexual stuff. They'll put funny stuff in them, but not necessarily sexual stuff. But a lot of them will put a lot of sexual stuff in them. Okay, so, and they rarely have, what did I say? Okay, when they take me to, like, Romania and Russia and places like that, when they take me to the different towns, cities, countries, they rarely have sexual stuff in them. Like this one didn't have any sexual stuff. So it's a different group. It's like a different group of reptilians that are working with the Greyz that are giving me all these experiences to different cities, states, countries, towns, whatever. And then, like I say, there's a few other reptilians that work alone and give me these virtual reality and out-of-body experiences. And they, 9 times out of 10, they always put sexual stuff in them. Okay, so I said, the reptilians and Greyz together are responsible for a lot of these types of experiences in my altered states when they take me to different towns, cities, countries, etc. And they rarely have sexual stuff in them. Like my virtual reality experiences to Russia, Cambodia, Romania, Atlanta, Africa, Joplin, and Florida. There was no sexual stuff in them. Recently, like 2 days ago, I was just thinking about how this one woman I used to date. Oh, okay, we're back to this, wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cindy, they put, about 4 times now, they put this woman Cindy in my scenarios. And, well, this time they did not put Cindy in my scenario, but what I was thinking about previously, that's why they came up with Ohio to give me the experience, in the altered state. So anyway, okay, so recently, like 2 days ago, which was 2 days before May 5th, I was just thinking about how this one woman I used to date, her mom lived in Ohio, and she drove 10 hours to go see her at times. It was just a fleeting thought when I was like thinking about the possums and the coons out my door. It was just a fleeting thought, so the aliens picked Ohio to take me to this morning in the altered state, which was May 5th. But for the past several days, I was asking the aliens, when are you going to take me to some places like an island or Hawaii, or a rainforest or a city or a state or whatever? Well, they picked Ohio. He. Okay, so here is how the scenario started. Oh, man, this is long. Okay, so here's how the scenario started. The aliens like to duplicate my 3D reality in the altered states, and they make up different realities for me too by taking me to places I've never been before, like to Russia and Romania, but they will still put some 3D reality elements in there. Those experiences are on here on my channel. Okay, yeah, and by the way, I don't know how they do it because I've never been to Romania or Russia, or 99% of these places I've never even been to them. But yet, they actually feel like that country. Like right now, if you go to India, it's totally going to feel like India. It does not feel like the USA. the energy is totally different. So like when I'm in Russia, it feels like Russia. When I'm in Cambodia, it felt like Cambodia. And when I was in England, it felt like England. And what was this other one? Russia. Oh yeah, Romania. It felt totally like Romania. And they even put Romanian people in there. And I've never even been to Romania. I've never even seen any Romanian people around here in my town. But I mean, I've had thoughts in my brain of what they kind of look like, and see, so the aliens went off of that and created some Romanian people for me in my scenario to Romania. And that story is on here too. That experience. Okay, so this is how this scenario started to Ohio. I was in this huge high-rise hotel in Ohio. Very luxurious, and there were front desks, so to speak, everywhere I looked on each floor, and more than just one. You know, like women were sitting at some of the desks, men were sitting at some of the desks. Everywhere I looked on each floor, and okay, I was in a huge high-rise hotel in Ohio. Very luxurious, and there were front desks, so to speak, everywhere I looked on each floor, and more than just one. Which is odd because normally there is only one front desk to each hotel. This hotel must have been 100 stories high. I mean, this hotel was freaking gigantic. I think the aliens were trying to duplicate the Atlanta hotel I stayed at back in 2010. It was huge. Okay, back to the lucid dream. I was staying with Linda, but like I said, there was a couple virtual reality elements in here. I was staying with Linda and Brenda in one room. And see, the aliens know I used to know a woman named Linda and Brenda in Texas. I was staying with Linda and Brenda in one room. People I used to know and people I used to hang with in Texas in real life. I was on floor 6, room 618 in this experience, but I remember thinking when I was actually in the experience, I was actually having this thought, you know, in the experience, which I have lots of thoughts in the experience that I totally remember. But I remember thinking in this experience, am I sure I am not in room 617? When I went back to the hotel after leaving the hotel at 3 a.m. in the morning, the aliens knew I was in room 617 in Texas. Oh, hold on. Okay, so I was on the 6th floor. This is all back to the lucid dream. I was on floor 6, room 618 in this experience. But I remember thinking while in the experience, am I sure I am not in room 617? When I went back to the hotel, this is all lucid dream. When I went back to the hotel, after leaving the hotel at 3 a.m. in the morning, the aliens knew I was in room 617 in Texas back in 2006 in real life. And when I went back to the hotel, I couldn't find my room, and a hotel worker stopped me and told me room 618. Yeah, so I don't know. It's like the aliens were getting me all confused with 618 and 617. Because they know, you know, I was in 617 in real life at a hotel back in 2006. And that story's on here too. Okay, so I'm going to read this over again. Okay, this is how it started. I was in this huge high-rise hotel in Ohio. Very luxurious, and there were front desks, so to speak, everywhere I looked on each floor, and more than just one. Which is odd because normally there is only one front desk to each hotel. This hotel must have been 100 stories high. It was gigantic. I think the aliens were trying to duplicate the Atlanta hotel I stayed in back in 2010. It was huge. Back to the lucid dream. I was staying with Brenda and Linda and Brenda in one room. People I used to know and people I used to hang with in Texas in real life. I was on room 6, this is back to the dream. I was on room 6, room 618 in this experience. But I remember thinking while in this experience, am I sure I am not in room 617? When I went back walking to the hotel after leaving the hotel at 3 a.m. in the morning. The aliens knew I was in room 617 in Texas back in 2006 in real life. So then I went back to the hotel. I couldn't find my room, and a hotel worker stopped me and told me room 618. Like I say, the aliens, I guess, were getting confused with 618 and 617. Back to the lucid dream. The reason why I left the hotel was to find a bathroom at a convenience store to tinkle in. Yeah, the aliens know that I'm OCD, and like they know it's just gross when you're like many people are staying in one hotel room and there's like clutter and shit all over the bathroom. That's just totally gross. And the aliens like to prey on that. They like to mock you and stuff in your experiences. So the aliens know I'm OCD. Okay, so the reason why I left the hotel to begin with was to find a bathroom at a convenience store to tinkle in. When I went into the bathroom in room 618, Linda and Brenda were sleeping. Yeah, they were sleeping. They never woke up. They never talked to me or anything. They were out like a light bulb the whole time. The whole time of this experience, they were out like a light bulb, sleeping in their beds. When I went into the bathroom in room 618, Linda and Brenda were sleeping, and I remember thinking I wanted to leave quietly and without them knowing. It was 3 a.m. in the morning. They had their stuff everywhere all over the vanity, and the aliens know I'm very OCD. The hotel bathroom was very cluttery. Linda and Brenda basically junked it up. And the reptilians, they do junk up a lot of my experiences. Matter of fact, I need to tell about that one experience because it was really funny about a transsexual man. And there again, that was a virtual reality experience. There again, there was another, a hotel involved. And I think I remember pretty much all of it anyway, but I know I wrote it down somewhere. But yeah, I'll have to talk about that one. Because that was funny as hell. And of course, there was another black guy, tenant, working at the front desk, who stole my purse. But that was another experience. I could talk about that later. Okay, so the hotel bathroom was very cluttery. Linda and Brenda junked it up. The next thing, like I said, I remember stuff just all over the floor and the vanity. The next thing I know, I'm in a car. And this part was virtual reality. I was driving at nighttime down the road just like normal, and to my left and to the right were huge high-rise hotels. I looked to my left and to the right, and there were just all these high-rises. Okay, so I never found a convenience store. I drove back to my hotel, and there were 4 high-rise hotels lined up, and I couldn't remember which hotel I was staying at. I was thinking in my head, oh my God, I didn't pay attention when I left where I was staying at. I picked a random hotel, which apparently it was the right hotel. But I picked the wrong floor. I was walking around what seemed like floor 35 or 50, which is pretty damn high. All these floors were very open. I was walking around totally freaking lost. I saw one of the airlines with workers behind the counters. I saw like 2 or 3 men behind the counters. The airline was called Texas Fort Worth Airlines. And I was thinking in my head, wow, the government is changing airlines all the time, and there is getting fewer and fewer airlines left so there can be a monopoly. And that is how the government wants it. I was thinking all of that in this whole experience. These experiences, they're very intricate, and I remember a lot of little teeny tiny details and stuff. I remember every detail. But for some reason, when they took me to the NSA building, when that Grey took me to the NSA building, I don't know why. I think they made me forget on purpose when that guy told me about NSA operations. Because look, I'm able to remember all these other words and intricate, words and crap. And then when the guy at the NSA building told me about operations, about 3 sentences, I couldn't remember what he said when I woke up. But I know it was all, just bullcrap anyway. Okay, so, back to the lucid dream. I was walking around totally freaking lost. I saw one of the airlines with workers behind the counters. The airline was called Texas Fort Worth Airlines. And I was thinking in my head, wow, the government is changing airlines all the time, and there is getting fewer and fewer airlines left so there can be a monopoly. And that is how the government wants it. Over to the right, when I looked up and saw the words Texas Fort Worth Airlines, I saw a map highlighted in red where the airline flew to. The map had only the middle of the United States covered, around 8 to 10 states in red. I proceeded to walk around some more. I went to another desk or counter where a hotel worker was seated. I asked her what room I was staying at, and I gave her the last name of Linda. Okay, so I asked her what room I was staying at, and I gave her the last name of Linda. It was after 3 a.m. Another worker walked by me and said, "Oh, you are in room 618. And a female, by the way. It was a female. Okay, I didn't put that. It was after 3 a.m. Another worker, a female, it was a female, walked by me and said, "Oh, you are in room 618. And the worker behind the desk agreed, and she said it would cost me $85. Because she thought I was just getting there for the first time, and anytime new people come to join a party early in the morning like this, it is extra money. I told her I had already been there with 2 other ladies during the beginning of check-in, and I flubbed her off, and I did not pay her $85. I do know why the aliens put that amount in my scenario. That amount was discussed when I talked to like a lawyer previously in real life. See, that's what I'm saying. These aliens are hilarious. They just put all these little random bits and pieces in your brain in these scenarios, and it's totally hilarious. The aliens are interested in our brains, and that is why they create all altered state experiences for everybody. But nobody figures it out. Well, I have. Back to the dream. In the process of walking to my room and finding the right floor and elevator to get on. Okay, back to the dream. In the process of walking to my room and finding the right floor and elevator to get on, I went to a floor that had a mall-like food court in the middle of the floor. Like I said before, this hotel was massively huge, and with each floor being super open and wide. And the hotels were lit up with lights all over the outside of them. Yeah, I didn't put that. I forgot to put that previously, where I told you when I was driving up and I saw the 4 hotels lined up and I couldn't remember what hotel I was staying at. Yeah, they all had lights all over them, which was kind of cool because, you know, in real life, normally they're not all lit up like that. Okay, so, like I said before, this hotel was massively huge, with each floor being super open and wide. And the hotels were lit up with lights all over the outside of them. Almost like a Christmas tree, but they were not unusual looking. I saw a male worker scoot a load of dirty sheets that were in the laundry carriage, which had wheels and into the normal looking elevator. That was on the other side of the big open room that I was in, where the food court was. That was on the other side. This elevator, where the guy was rolling in the sheets. And then on the other side of the wall, that's the one where I got into. Okay, so almost like, so I saw a male worker scoot a load of dirty sheets that were in the laundry carriage, which had wheels on it, and I saw him scoot it into the normal looking elevator. What I'm trying to say is that elevator was normal. That was a normal elevator. Back behind me, several feet behind me, was the other elevator against the wall, and that's the next part of the scenario. Okay, so I then overlooked the food court, so to speak, and there were tons of people around, there was lots of people, standing around and eating, and the food looked very, very yummy and almost like gourmet. It all looked like gourmet. I looked at individual foods, and like I said, it all looked like gourmet. I wanted to be a part of it, but my room wasn't on that floor. So I wasn't entitled to eat on that floor at the buffet, and I knew that. Normally, when you look at buffets, the food looks nasty, and I hate going to buffets in real life. I oversaw a metal cart with one blueberry muffin on a plate on it at a distance when I was about to get into another elevator that was opposite ends to the other one where I saw the laundry worker. But this elevator was something of the future. I also smelled in the distance the blueberry muffin. That was virtual reality. I could smell it at a distance. It was the exact muffins that I get at the bookstore, and the aliens know I like those kind of muffins. I got into this weird silver elevator that was like oval, and it was revolving, and I was tilting at an angle. This part was virtual reality. And I was actually moving as it was revolving, and I had a hard time staying straight on my legs, like I was kind of bobbling around. And I got stuck in it. Apparently the doors had locked. But over to my left, it was an open area, so I was thinking, damn, I'm glad I can get out of this damn thing. And this is all what I was thinking right in the experience. I was trying to control the digital like controls over to my right on the elevators before I realized the elevator was out of order. I was pressing numbers like 333, 444, 555, and they all lit up. The numbers were off whitish, but when I pressed them, they lit up yellowish and some like pinkish color. But the elevator wasn't moving up and down, and I knew something was wrong. A familiar-looking woman looked at me through the front of the glass doors. The front doors were glass, you know, which is kind of odd in real life. Normally, they're not glass. A familiar-looking woman looked at me through the glass doors of the elevator and said, "Didn't you know this elevator was out of order?" She said it rudely. And she said, "There is a sign right there." I was like, "No, I didn't know that." I looked back. It was right behind me, the sign, because I was facing the glass doors. The sign was behind me on the elevator walls. I looked back and I saw some red dyslexic type of words pertaining to the fact that the elevator was out of order. And that's not the first time they put dyslexic, mixed up, mumble jumble type of words in my scenarios as well. That's not the first time. It said something like, "Caution, working order not." And as a matter of fact, I think if that's not exactly what I remember, I know it's pretty damn close. But it said, "Caution, working order not." But it was all red letters. As you could tell, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, it makes sense, but it's mumble jumble. That's not the first time they put dyslexic type of words in my scenarios. It was total dyslexic language. Okay, oh my god, I just thought of something. Maybe the aliens were trying to mimic a UFO with this weird elevator they created for me in this scenario. This elevator was not of this world. It was like a revolving, tilting egg. Hey, yeah, maybe they were kind of mimicking a UFO or something. And when I wrote this, when I typed this up, I just all of a sudden thought about that. I didn't think about that after the experience until I wrote this up. Okay, we're almost done, thank God. Okay, so finally I ended up back in room 618 and Brenda and Linda were still sleeping. Yeah, and by the way, the aliens can actually abduct you in an actual virtual reality dream state as well. And you can have missing time and stuff, but it's not 3D time. It's like in a dream state time. I can talk about that later. So finally I ended up back in the room 618 and Brenda and Linda were still sleeping. I finally went to the bathroom and barely tinkled. Okay, this was also virtual reality. This was virtual reality. Because it was just like no different than just tinkling, you know. Like a couple drops came out or whatever. It was virtual reality. And this is for real too. The reptilians one time early in the morning when this is for real in the front bedroom. When I was in the front bedroom. This was like a Sunday morning. The reptilians one time early in the morning in a groggy state made me pee-pee in the bed. I mean, like a gallon. This wasn't a couple of drops this time. This was just like a gallon. When I woke up, of course, I was like, thank God the bed is dry. That was total virtual reality. And like I say, sometimes in virtual reality experiences, I know it's virtual reality. Sometimes I do not know. This I did not know. I really thought I pissed the bed until I woke up back in 3D and I was like, oh, thank God the bed is dry. Like I say, they can control all of that. It's really awesome. But yeah, reptilians will do shit like that to you. That was the first time they've ever done that. I mean, I sat there, and I had pissed the bed before when I was younger, probably like a lot, you know what I'm saying? So they can still kind of go by that and make you piss the bed again many years later under virtual reality. But like I say, when I was pissing the bed, I did not know I was in an altered state until after I snapped back in 3D. And then I was just like, oh, thank God the bed is dry. Okay, so anyway, the reptilians one time, early in the morning, the groggy state made me piss the bed. I mean, like a gallon. When I woke up, I was like, thank God the bed is dry. The reptilians are ornery. They can mess with your head in so many ways. The aliens do like to put things of the future in my virtual reality scenarios. That can be for the next video, which I already did that video about a week ago. Lots of times. Okay, so anyway, the end of this experience, I think I said the end. So finally I ended up back in room 618 and Brenda and Linda were still sleeping. I finally went into the bathroom and barely tinkled. Okay, this was also virtual reality, the end. That was the end of the experience, which I think I already said that. Okay, so the aliens, they do like to put things of the future in my virtual reality scenarios. And I already put that video on here. Lots of times if the aliens are giving me a lucid dream or virtual reality experience or out-of-body experience, they could possibly really be doing other things to me, too, at my bedside or whatever. But if they were physically abducting me and taking me someplace else, I always know that. I totally always know that. They just can't hide from me when they do that sort of thing. I would know that. So I know they are not doing that while taking me to different cities, states, etc. in my altered, states. But they could be sometimes at my bedside doing stuff. Possibly. That is part of the cyborg thing with me they told me about, and they do not need to physically abduct me for that, to take me to Romania and all that. I'm doing all that not because myself. I'm doing all that because of them. I'm having all these awesome experiences not because of my own brain, because of them. Like I said before, I caught one Greyz standing in my doorway in the bathroom directly tampering with my brain and giving me commands to go on to the next gnarly, awesome, lucid virtual reality experience. This was just a couple years ago. I could feel a Greyz standing there. And he was giving my brain commands. It was so weird to go on to the next awesome lucid experience. Virtual reality experience. When people wake up and then they go back to sleep and complete the virtual reality experience or lucid dream, it's because their brain is a cyborg like mine. And the aliens already pre-programmed them to dream that, so to speak. So if you wake up for several minutes and then close your eyes, you're going to complete that dream. That virtual reality experience. That happened to me during this time when the Grey was directly tampering with my brain in the doorway. Like I said, I just had that happen a couple years ago when the Grey was standing in the doorway. And then I went back to sleep. I woke up for many, many, many minutes. It wasn't like a split second. And then I closed my eyes and I just continued on with the virtual reality experience. And actually that was about a big flood. They put a lot of floods and shit in my experiences. All my life they've been putting me in water, floods, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, that just happened 2 years ago when I woke up and went back to sleep. I just continued on with the same, it just flowed right on, the same lucid virtual reality experience. But there are at least 2 factions of Greyz who physically abduct me. Yeah, and they're just kind of rude. But yeah, the commands they were giving me, it was so, not they, but he, the commands that Grey was giving me, it was hilarious. Like, I would hear, like, these electronic noises, like bzz, like, in my brain. And, like a buzzer. And, I heard in between the virtual reality experience, like to tell me to go on to the next virtual reality experience, I heard a robot computer generated female voice. I kid you not. This is what this computer generated female voice said. It said, "New." See, I'm trying to say it right. I can't say it right. It said, "New." But anyway, it was totally computer generated. And like I say, it said "new." So the Grey was totally giving my brain's commands to go on to the next virtual reality experience. Just bam, 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 bam. That was before I realized that they had been giving me all these experiences all my life. And those, I don't know why I didn't write that one down, but I didn't. But like I say, that was before I realized they kept creating everything for me. Out-of-body experiences, virtual reality experiences, remote views, lucid dreams, dream, they create all that for me. But two, about the water thing, a couple years ago, this was a virtual reality experience where they, well, a lot of these virtual reality experiences are abductions, you know. They're created them by your astral body. Whether or not they're doing other things to you, sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, while they distract you with this virtual reality experience. But yeah, a couple years ago, they stuck me in this little pool underwater. It was just a little square pool, like 5 feet by 7 feet. It was very small. And I went underwater, and I was just like breathing like normal. And I was like, wow. I'm like freaking underwater, and I'm still breathing normally. Yeah, they did that. And that was just about 2 or 3 years ago. It was really awesome. But yeah, they do a lot of things with water and my experiences. Okay, well, freaking A, man. This video is getting long. Okay, so good night and over and out. Thanks for listening.